and wife. I'm the legally blind artist that is rapping and painting for justice, hoping to see justice before it all fades to black. Yes, it's your girl Cadillac. Anyways, I don't know. I was up here researching. I'm about to go back into Walmart, right? After I record this little video. But I was researching about this Geico Drive Easy. I want to do a video about that. I don't know if that's the best option, girl. And now I'm like, did I even make the best choice with getting that? I'm starting to second guess. But so I wrote more notes on what we were talking about yesterday. So let me get back to the title. I feel a little better than I did yesterday, though. So basically, this was life lessons that I learned the hard way. So, where we left off, this is about people dealing with people in my life with narcissistic personality disorder. I've had a lot of narcissistic energy over my whole lifetime. So, it has really caused a holdback in my life, stronghold, whatever you want to call it, delay. It has really caused that in my life. So I am finally releasing these feelings. So, oh my eye. So to continue. So in the beginning, I would believe their claims. So now you have to go back. I'll link it in the description box, but you got to go back and watch the first part of it. This is part two. So in the beginning, I would believe their claims of love. After a while, I started to question their love. But what would stop me from the questioning process, was the false belief of me that deep down they had to love me. And even though their claims of love didn't match their actions. Okay, and then I have a little quote at the top. How could you not love me after everything I have done and I do? So that's what I would think. After all the things I do for, these individuals, how would they not love me? That's why I kept trying to convince myself they gotta love me somewhere down there, like really. And if you've ever dealt with narcissistic personality disorder with anybody in your life, you kind of feel these same feelings, right? You ask yourself these same questions. You're like, they gotta love me. Like, as much as I do, like, if you're gonna love anybody, you would love me because I'm constantly. Okay. Though their claims of love didn't match their actions, my love language is not what comes out your mouth. I judge how I'm being treated, and once I bring my concerns, I'm judged by how I'm being treated. I'm sorry. And once I bring my concerns of what is being done to me, how you respond to me. Do they listen to my concerns? Does my concerns feel heard even if they haven't yet taken action? Do I feel like the concerns of the action is going to be honestly taken into consideration? Then I got another quote at the top. The nicest, most generous, caring, kind people have the most enemies. At first, things they did would bother me, but I wouldn't bring it to them. I would be super angry about it, but I would think I was being childish or petty to address something so small. Life lesson. Small stuff left unaddressed leads to big stuff. It's like a meteor falling to the earth, growing in size over time. Here's where the problem lies. They would do the same actions I perceive to be uncaring or unkind, unthoughtful, and I would analyze to myself, if I did the same action to them, would they think I did something to them wrong? And at times I would have occasion where they would commit the same action and not want to be addressed. But if I did the same action, they would call me to the carpet and they would tell others about what happened. See, in this relationship, there is zero tolerance of me making any kind of human error, even when I am so ever careful not to do so. But the way I was handled in return was in a very unappreciative, unforgiving, even when I did nothing wrong type of way. So, in this unbalanced relationship dynamic, you are held to the most pristine standard. But in return for them, the standard in which they are held to is dropped so low that enemies probably would respect me more and treat me better than those that claim to love me. Okay, then I have this note. I don't even think it fits here though, but I just wrote it there. Okay, with them, there is always an elephant in the room, and under no circumstance can you ever address the elephant. If we can just get the elephant out the room, we might be able to have a functional relationship, but it's never going to happen. Okay, back to what I was saying. This went on for over a decade or so until I just got tired of letting their constant habitual infractions of the same offense go time after time without addressing them. I am human and I can only take so much. Life lesson. I learned the hard way. People are not going to. I did a lot of writing today, girl. Treat you the way you treat them. People are not going to respect you just because you respect them. People treat you, some people treat you however you allow them to. Life lesson. Teach people how to treat you and what you will and won't put up with in the beginning. See, I waited too long. But I can still do it. But now I'm the enemy for doing it. You can't really let offenses go unchecked. But also, you don't want to nitpick over every little instance in the same manner that they do. That would make you over time just as narcissistic as they are. So, around my 30s, I started to address them when things bothered me. And it didn't matter what time of day. It could be after a super fun event and they seem to be in a good mood. It could be when you perceive them to be in a neutral mode because they're just, oops, sitting around watching TV. No time is ever right to address them. It doesn't matter how nice, kind, gentle I was, they would be highly offended and flabbergasted that I dare say they mishandled a situation. They can do no wrong. And if they did, it's my fault. They did it. See, this is where I develop much of my I can't do anything right baggage. From those closest to me and that claimed to love me most. Also, in a relationship with them, they are completely emotionally unavailable. When I need support, help, and anything, but they need support. I am penalized if I don't move heaven and earth to be there for them. I am also expected whenever I am needed to drop everything I need to do and run to their aid. There is no putting myself first in my own life. They label that selfish. So I pretty much can never be unavailable to them. But the reverse is totally acceptable. And how dare I ask them to make me a priority? So I hope I'm relaying the message ever so clearly that these relationships are draining and constant, and I constantly pour into others, and no one pours back into me. And if they do, it's drops. I lived like this a long time, most of my life. Anyone from the outside looking in can observe them doing these silent, insulting things. But no one comes to my rescue. And here's why: they create flying monkeys around them. And many conversations about me and take place. Oh, I'm sorry. I can barely read my writing, y'all. They create flying monkeys around them, and they have many conversations about me that take place with many others behind my back. The best flying monkey in a family setting is another family member that is not that call it like it is personality. Preferably, they need another passive person, scared to call them out on their BS or their errors due to either not wanting to hurt their feelings because they have a fragile ego, or have their wrath be redirected to them. So, most times, to make sure nothing is said or done on your behalf in your favor, they are to make sure no matter how wrong they are and right you are, you win no battles, small or large. You are always in the end determined either to be at fault or it's never resolved. Unresolved for them is just as good because still no blame is confirmed to be theirs. In a friend setting, the best flying monkey is a mutual friend. These things also happen in work settings. I'm dealing with stuff like that now. I have experienced narcissistic relationships in all examples. Feels like I attract this dark energy to me. But darkness is drawn to the light. The battle with them are will help you with oh, I'm sorry. I had an example. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm like, how we got on Marcello? Marcello wasn't even in this. Then I all of a sudden seen his name. I'm like, hold on, what happened? Okay, example. See, that's why nobody wants to help you with Marcello's case. This is an example of what they'll say. That's why your family treats you like that. Real, okay, reassuring my problems are all my fault. This is what I started to need. This is where I started to need validation to offset all the invalidation coming from the person with Narcissistic Personality Disorder. I began to seek validation because I was no longer able to validate myself. This is why there is such a need for healthy relationships. But due to these types of energy all around me, it leads to, I'm sorry, it leads to hard to trust individual issues, and that leads to a very small circle. And it's also hard out of that small circle to find someone that will help me in spite of their loyalty to the one in the narc with the narc energy. This causes so much trauma in one's life and is also labeled as abuse. Narc abuse. Literally, God just revealed this to me last year that I am actually a victim of narc abuse. That's that mental abuse. I'm going to read the symptoms of narc abuse. Okay, so let's look that up. I thought I was going to get to write it down. I'm telling y'all I'm finna read it. Let's Google it real quick. Okay. 16 narcissistic abuse and victim syndrome. Hold on. Symptoms of narcissistic abuse victims. Okay, let's read this together. It's crazy. I never knew that I had trauma like that. But when you actually read something and find the answer to what you have, and you start to read other people's take on it, and you research and you say, "Oh, that's me." It's so you haven't healed yourself, but it's so relieving. It's almost like getting a point in the right direction, right? Being completely lost, not knowing which way to go, and then someone saying, "Hey, just head left." 16 signs of narcissistic abuse and victim syndrome. Narcissistic victim or abuse syndrome is an unofficial diagnosis that can develop after experiencing narcissistic abuse. Common symptoms include confusion, got that, anxiety, sure got that, hypervigilance. I think I just said that. I didn't have that big fancy word for it, but that's waiting for that other foot to drop. I said that in the other video. Avoidant behavior. Yes, I have that. I wanted to do a video about that, and I didn't know where that came from. I am scared to check emails. I'm scared to check my mail. If a situation just like with that apartment was overwhelming me, like I just knew it wasn't going to turn out right, I try to push it off and avoid it. And this comes from that relationship. See, it floods into the other parts of your life. And it's like I probably would be a healthier person without that. Hold on, I'm trying to get the light back on. And it's sad how we affect each other like this. Avoidant behavior, I have that. The effects of psychological manipulation can lead to long-term consequences for victims, such as isolation. Always isolated, always. Self-blame, run me to blame. Don't, if y'all been watching if girl, whoever been watching my videos for a while, y'all already know self-blame, which they a lot of times call it negativity, or loss of identity, not knowing who you are. I have literally every one because Loss of identity is like, I know I'm a good person, but now I'm starting to think I'm actually a bad person because everyone around me is saying I'm bad, which causes me to do more and more and more good. But the more and more and more and more good I do, the more bad I am. And they've actually convinced everyone around that, yes, Keita is bad. So making healthier lifestyle changes and seeking therapy, which I definitely need therapy. I'm long overdue. They need therapy. They desperately need it, but I don't think they want it. But I need it. And seeking therapy can help lessen symptoms of narcissistic victim syndrome. Would you like to recover from relationships with a narcissist? Whew. What is narcissistic abuse? A unique form of psychological abuse performed by those with narcissistic personality disorder or narcissistic traits. This behavior includes distinctive elements that can make it difficult to understand and identify, even for those who have experienced it. Yes, I did not know what was happening. I just knew this is crazy and it's driving me crazy. But I didn't know how to identify it at all until God revealed it to me. Hovering, hoovering, love bombing, gaslighting, triangulation. I'll go through all of these, but y'all know my man, the self aware narcissist. Yes. Someone called him a narcissist, and rather than him to keep combating and turning everybody against him, he went and got in therapy and got help. But he does say it is very difficult for people with this disorder to go get help because they will not ever admit that they have this disorder. See, the whole thing about narcissistic personalities, they have to blame you. They have to blame anybody but themselves. They can't even take, if a paper dropped on the floor and they knocked it on the floor, they can't even take the blame that they knocked the paper on the floor. An average person can say, "Oh, my bad, I knocked the paper on the floor." They can't even take that smallest blame. So when they do big things, small things, the blame is not theirs. Somehow it's your fault. So you see how, as you hearing my full story, how I take so much shame and blame. Everything's my fucking fault. Even when I'm helping you, it's my fucking fault. Like that's too much for me. I'm a strong woman, but that's too much. That over time, and it's a small breakdown. It doesn't break you down overnight. It breaks you down over time. Okay, triangulation, silent treatment, scapegoating. I told you I was a scapegoat child. Passive aggressive behavior, lies, smear campaigns. That's when they talk behind your back to others. Oh my gosh. Even more, way more reasons why I need to go to therapy, to be honest. I really do. So, I have every one of those traits. I thank God for revealing the truth now. Now I can attempt to heal from it. Dang. Talking about somebody healing at age 42 sucks. It's like if I could have just came to these revelations at 20, 25, 30. Do you know how much the strife in my life I could have, and how much setbacks I could have avoided? People will always tell you, stop doing so much, stop doing so much. And it's so much easier to say that than to do it. So I thank God for revealing the truth now. Now I can attempt to heal from it now that I can identify what is going on. Um, if anybody else has suffered from this, my prayers are with you. If you didn't know what was going on, just like I was legally blind, I was losing my sight, I couldn't figure out what was going on. And once someone led me to what is going on, I was able to find answers and get myself a contact that can help me and actually start researching what the heck is wrong with me. But when you don't know and you're just in that, that's why it's so important. Like this is October is mental health awareness month. And yes, that all falls under the realm of mental health. And those that, I mean, they say it's a small possibility for those that have narcissistic personality disorder. But if you do, I pray that you would go seek help so that you can stop hurting those around you that love you. The people that you are hurting really do love you, but people can only take so much. God is the only one that can take and take and take and take and take and take and take. People can't do that. People get tired. People get weary with you. So my prayer is that you would go seek help. Don't be too embarrassed to see if something is just like I sought out. I knew something was freaking wrong with me. I when people, you know yourself. You know when something is just not right. So seek help. Let's all seek help so we can stop hurting those who we're supposed to love. All right, guys. Hiss your girl Cadillac.